The first question is about crime rate. The current crime rate in Acadia, including burglary, robbery, and even murder, seems to be increasing. If you become the city councilman or councilwoman, what is your strategy to improve the safety of Acadia's streets and neighborhood?
Again, it was part of what I spoke about already. We have the AB 109 and Proposition 47, which has allowed the criminals to come out onto our streets. So again, what we have to do is we have to make sure our police have all the resources available to them to make sure that they can go after these criminals. We also have to fight our state government in regards to the housing of these criminals, to keep them in prison where they belong as opposed to being out on the streets where they're victimizing us. And as a councilman, I would make sure that our city continues to fight that against the state in making sure we keep these people in, as well as that we have that funding. Part of the funding comes from our utility tax. I make sure, and I will be going through the utility tax and where the money is being spent, to make sure that the funds are being used properly for law enforcement to keep us safe in our homes. The way, again, is you have to have the people out there on the street. If we have the restricted funds, we don't have the people on the street to protect us. So as long as we have them out there and they're available to come and arrest these people, that will help get them back into the jails and, again, keeping us safe. So those are things that you got to do. As in regards to the murder is something that is very, very rare in our city, and it usually has nothing to do with gangs or anything like that. There's usually something else that's going on, or it's a crime of passion, some family member that is doing something. There's not much you can do other than education and having the mental health evaluation to help people get through those things.
Yeah, as I indicated before in the introduction, I think to deal with the increased crime rate in our city as a result of passage of Proposition 47, which released a lot of criminals into the street of San Gabriel Valley cities, I would recommend, if I get elected to the city council, I would recommend increasing police force and also increasing the patrolling. We can use a drone to help surveillance of the criminals and the crime activities. And I would also hire bilingual personnel so that the communication between the English language handicapped new immigrants and the police department will be helped. Okay, we can use social media like Line or WeChat to help this communication. Also, we have this neighborhood watch program, such as See Something, Tell Something, the Bait Package program, and also Coffee with a Cup. I want to continue to support and expand this kind of programs. And we will do everything to prevent the occurrence of the crime in the Acadia cities. Thank you.
Thank you. Paul and Philippe.
I guess everybody still can hear me okay, right? Mr. Brake brought it up, Measure A, I brought it up before. I'm supporting them not taking that away. I think that those tax dollars, it's a tax on your utilities that you use. And nobody wants to pay taxes. From what I hear, it's being used on good things, but I'm gonna go over it with a sharp pencil because I wanna make sure every dollar that you're getting taxed for is spent properly, is not being wasted. And things could be juggled around with that. We get more police on the streets. But again, you have to say something if you see a crime being committed or somebody's doing something to you that's inappropriate as far as burglary or stealing packages. I think one of the great things they did is we caught some people just recently. They were stealing packages, very proactive with the police department. They put ones in with an identity chip in it, and they stole the package and they followed the guy right to his home. I was in the leadership committee for 10 weeks. If you guys ever have a chance, please take that course. For 10 weeks, they take you around to all the departments. We do have excellent people running our departments. The police department especially, they really want to do more. I think it's a lack of resources to hire more officers, but we do have to hire more officers because this can't go on if we're easy pickings. People are gonna keep coming here and robbing you guys and us. My truck was broken into myself. You know, you can't park anywhere, you have to have people watching. If someone sees something, you gotta report it. But I'm gonna spend your money judiciously, I'm not gonna waste it, and people are not gonna have enormous salaries. It's gonna be proportional to what your job is.
Thank you. April Delano.
Okay, like I had already stated, public safety obviously one of my number one priorities. I had a couple weeks ago spent 3 hours meeting with our police chief, Guthrie, on this very issue because I was so concerned and I wanted to be able to meet with the police chief and see what it is that can be done. I think it's going to take a joint effort between the residents and our police to come up with a solution for this. And, you know, my motto is, you know, let's make Arcadia the least desirable city to the criminals. That's what my goal is, and why I want to be on city council is to try and help facilitate or try to make this something that we can show to everybody that this is how we do it. This is how Arcadia takes its city back from these criminals. I already had mentioned increased patrols, hiring more police officers. Probably the third component is going to be our residents. Our residents working together, see something, say something, so important. When we were burglarized a couple years back, our neighbors on both times had seen a white van pull up to our house, but thought it was workers. And that was the white van taking away all our things. So I think it's going to take a lot of getting out there and communicating with all of the neighborhoods and reestablishing neighborhood watch programs. So, thank you.
Peter Anderson.
My theme has always been keep Arcadia great, but you can't have a great city if it's not a safe city. So that's really important. I think that I view it as a three-pronged attack to dealing with crime. First of all, it starts with the individual. We have to educate the individual not to become a victim. You know, the chief spoke out, you know, when I came home from the meeting a couple weeks ago, our neighbors were hit. And there's 3 things the chief said. A dog, simple thing, having a dog can make you less, almost undesirable. That's the most common thing. Homes that were hit up in northern Arcadia was they didn't have a dog. Second thing, the security system. And the third one is being away for a long period of time. But there's little things like that we've got to start at home. We start teaching, we start educating our citizens not to be a victim, because it starts with yourself. Second of all, we go up and we move to the neighborhoods. The neighborhoods need to work together. You know, often I've heard stories of, instead of calling the police department, they call their friend and say, hey, what's going on across the street? Call the police department. Don't be afraid to make a false alarm. That's what they say, to see something, say something. Don't be afraid. That night that we came home, there was a strange car in front of our house when our neighbors were hit. I didn't call anything about it. I didn't think about it. So it starts with the individual, starts with the community, then we look to the police force. We have to get creative. We have to look at new ways. We have to put the funds into additional services. You know, that most burglaries happen on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday between 8 and I'm done at 8 and 4. But we got to focus our resources using the education we have. So 3-prong attack. And Sacramento's not going to help us. They're getting worse. We're just going to make Arcadia not desirable and let them go pray in another city. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Bob Hobbig.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, Arcadia is a safe city. We're seeing a slight uptick in burglaries. Chief Bob Guthrie and the men and women of the Arcadia Police Department are on top of it. They know how to police the city. This is a minor problem. Arcadia is still one of the safest cities in Los Angeles County, even with this slight uptick in crime. What do? We let the police do their job. They don't need your advice, they don't need my advice, they know how to police. One thing you can do, and this may be one of the questions, is you can vote no on Proposition A. Proposition A would repeal the utility tax, would harm our police department, our fire department, our paramedics, all of our departments. The state has released 22,000 prisoners from prison out onto the streets of California. Some of them are coming to Arcadia because we have what they want. Why would anybody want to harm our police department at this critical point in time? So you ask me what I can do to reduce crime, I'm telling you what you can do to reduce crime is vote no on Proposition A. This is almost criminally negligent and a terrible thing for our community. Trust in your police department. We have the best.
Thank you.